The scream cut through the evening air like a blade through silk. I was washing dishes in my parents' cramped kitchen, my 7-year-old son Jesse quietly coloring in the corner. He'd learned early that silence meant safety in this house. Then came those words that would haunt me forever. "Oh, Mom. Mommy, my eyes." I dropped everything and ran. Jesse was curled on the floor, small hands pressed against his face, crimson droplets seeping through his fingers like tears of blood. My sister Mara stood there, casually holding her expensive perfume bottle, completely unbothered. "He stared at me too long. Freaked me out," she said with a shrug, as if she'd just swatted a fly. "So I gave him a lesson in boundaries." The bottle shattered against the wall when I threw it. But what broke me wasn't the perfume. It was the sound that came next. Laughter. My mother, munching chips on the couch, actually chuckled and said to my father, "At least he smells better now." My father didn't even look up from his newspaper. Should have taught him not to stare. Boys like him always grow up pervy. In that moment, something inside me didn't just break. It transformed. I scooped up my screaming child and locked us in the bathroom, flushing his burning eyes with water until his screams became sobs, then silence. Not peaceful silence. The silence of surrender. I walked 4 miles to the nearest urgent care, carrying Jesse the entire way. When the nurse asked what happened, I said 3 words that would define my future. He was attacked. By family. Chemical burns. Antibiotic drops. $28. My last $28. That night, we slept on a stained mattress in a stranger's garage, Jesse whispering, "Is the mean lady coming back?" "No," I promised. "She's gone." But I knew she wasn't. None of them were. They lived in his flinches, his refusal to make eye contact, the way he drew superheroes with one eye shut. They lived in the silence they'd beaten into him. My family didn't call. My sister posted about her healing era, with new makeup tutorials. And I worked. I scrubbed dishes until my knuckles bled, served coffee to people who wouldn't meet my eyes, and smiled like I didn't carry rage in my chest like broken glass. While they forgot about us, I was building something they couldn't see. I didn't want justice. I wanted consequences. And I would craft them myself, one deliberate step at a time. Started with silence. Complete strategic silence. When Mara sent a voice note calling Jesse a creepy little gremlin, and saying he was lucky she didn't use hairspray, I simply blocked her. Blocked them all. Let them wonder why I went ghost. Then I worked. Doubles at the diner, cleaning houses, overnight babysitting. Every penny went toward one goal. Rising so high they could never touch us again. Jesse started drawing again, calling me Mama, instead of whispering when he needed something. I enrolled in trauma psychology courses, studied abuse patterns, learned exactly what they'd done to us and how to dismantle it. Knowledge became my weapon. Understanding became my armor. 2 years of building. 2 years of climbing. I became certified as a trauma support aide. Got a job coordinating abuse recovery programs in schools. Jesse started healing, really healing. One evening he looked up at me and said, "You're like a superhero." "I don't have powers, baby." "Yes, you do. You protect." That night, I wrote a promise in my notebook. I will never let anyone laugh at his pain again. I will rebuild us from the ground up. Success has a way of drawing predators back to their prey. Mara reached out through a fake account. "Saw your little speech at that school thing. Cute. Guess being a victim is trendy now." I didn't respond. I was past responding. Then my father showed up at the diner. The same one where I'd been scrubbing dishes years earlier. He sat in his usual corner booth like nothing had happened. "Still working here. Thought you'd be crawling back by now." He laughed, stirring his coffee. "Your mother's birthday is coming up. You coming or not?" I looked him dead in the eye. "No." Still holding a grudge over that little cologne thing. "It was perfume. And ask your grandson what the difference is." For a split second, I saw shame flicker across his face before contempt masked it. "You think you're better than us now?" No, I said, turning away. I know I am. What happened next wasn't my doing. Not directly. Screenshots of Mara's old posts began circulating in parent groups. Comments mocking Jessie. Videos making fun of disabled children. That horrifying voice note where she described what she did, saying, "He deserved it. Not from me." Never publicly, but quietly, carefully, shared by people who'd witnessed Jessie's journey. People who understood what monsters looked like. She lost sponsorship deals. Her boyfriend dumped her when someone emailed him the voice recording. She posted a tearful video. People are so sensitive nowadays. Like, grow up. The comments flooded in. Your nephew isn't sensitive. You're a monster. Imagine doing that to a child, then laughing. The internet doesn't forget. And neither did I. 6 months before she died, my grandmother found me. We hadn't spoken in years, but she sought me out specifically. "You remind me of myself when I was young," she whispered. "Strong. Unwanted. Unbreakable." She rewrote her will. Everything went to Jessie. Not me, Jessie. The house my parents lived in, the land, the savings. All of it placed in trust for my 7-year-old son. When the lawyer read that will aloud, my mother choked on her drink and screamed. "What? To that little mute brat?" The lawyer looked up calmly. "That little mute brat now owns the house you live in." They called me over and over. I let it ring until one day, curiosity got the better of me. "Please," my mother's voice trembled. "We're being kicked out. You can't let them do this. Jessie doesn't even understand what a will is." "He understands cruelty," I replied. "He lived with you. We didn't mean it." You laughed. Hung up. But I wasn't done yet. Mara filed for custody of Jessie's inheritance, claiming I was emotionally unstable and manipulating a senile old woman. She had the audacity to suggest I was using my own son for financial gain. They thought my silence meant fear. They didn't understand. I was waiting. I walked into that courtroom with Jessie's therapist, social worker, 2 teachers, and the volunteer coordinator from the trauma center. They didn't speak with legal jargon. They spoke with raw emotion. "Jessie came to us afraid of eye contact," his therapist testified. "He now speaks to other children. That is not by accident." "His mother never asked for praise," said his teacher. "She asked what else she could do. Every hour she wasn't working, she was helping someone else's child," the coordinator added. When Mara's turn came, she smiled at the judge. "I just don't think someone who holds a grudge this long should be in charge of that much money. I mean, it's about Jessie, isn't it?" The judge blinked. "Miss Donnelly, do you understand this hearing is about a child's well-being, not your personal feelings?" Mara's smirk crumbled. When the gavel came down, the inheritance stayed with Jessie. The estate remained in trust with me as sole administrator. Mara and my parents received a restraining order for past abuse, harassment, and emotional endangerment. As I walked past them, my mother lunged forward. "You evil little witch! How dare you do this to your own blood?" I paused just long enough to say, "You all made Jessie bleed. I'm just making sure no one does again." Years later, Jessie thrived. We moved to a sunny place outside town. He took piano lessons, made friends, stood up straight. He even wrote a story once, about a superhero fighting a villain who sprayed fire at children's eyes. I asked what happened to the villain at the end. "She wasn't defeated," he said. "Then what happened? She was forgotten. And that was it. The perfect revenge wasn't money or exposure. It was living in a world where they no longer mattered. Where Jessie got to be a child. Where laughter didn't mean pain. Where silence wasn't fear but peace." We never went back to the old house or tried to rebuild what never existed. Instead, we built something new, something beautiful, something they could never touch again. In that quiet, perfect life, they became exactly what they deserved to be, nothing. Sometimes the greatest revenge is not destruction but creation. Not bringing them down to your level, but rising so high they become irrelevant. This mother didn't just protect her son. She built him a kingdom where monsters couldn't reach.